In this video, we're going to take a look at how we're going to do the underlighting for our Warhammer 30k Grimdark Terrain Board. I've got my friend Keith here. He's going to run through the technicals on how we've achieved this.
So what we've got here is an LED strip pre-made off. These I've had for quite some time, so I thought it was about time to use them. And I've laid them out in such a way as to give light on all corners of these four boxes, or the 4/4 of the 2 foot by 2 foot box. You can see from this one here I've actually completed, and they're all pinned in, and I've just used some cable clips, and that's going to make sure that everything is steady and not going to move. This one here is actually to go through this hole, and it's the return. So rather than me cutting this and starting a short wire back here, might as well just use this little piece. Goes out of this hole on this side to the next box. At the beginning of the box, I've pre-put the cable all the way through. We can then connect it up to, if I push it through, connect it up to the previous box. So I connect it, and you'll notice the lights aren't working yet. So if I grab my phone, we have an application on here called WLED. If I go to the config, LED preferences, we'll see that I've only got 600 LEDs configured. So that's that box and this box. So we're adding another 300 LEDs. So I want to change this to 9. And as soon as I click on save, you'll see that the lights come on. Now you'll notice that they're not quite as bright as they were before. That's because I need to increase the amount of power going, or telling the LEDs that I've actually got more power. So if I go 2500, and now they are brighter. I've still got to experiment and see how bright we can make these. Also, to make sure that we have got power to all the LEDs equally, because you will actually lose power as you go from one end to the other, is we're going to connect power up to the far end, and maybe even a couple of intermediate sections, just to make sure that all the LEDs have got the same amount of brightness. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to place the tile that we've pre-cut earlier in the week, place it over, and you'll notice that this side has the writing on it. There is actually film on both sides. This has got white and this is clear. We're not sure yet if we're going to use this film or some others, another film that I've purchased, which may be a little bit more see-through and allow more light through. If I take this off, we'll see that those LEDs are coming up all the way through. It's quite bright in here, so you may not see quite as much. And I still have to experiment a little bit with brightness to see if I can get them brighter. So the film on the top here is just so that we can diffuse the light, otherwise it's going to be a bit too directional, and we'll be able to see individual LEDs through the actual tiles themselves. So with these tiles, some of them have quite a lot of light going through them. You'll see lots of grids, but what we want to try and do is just have an effect coming through the actual tiles.
One of our subscribers asked to see some close-ups of the finished tiles. So here we are. The tiles are finished. You can see them in close-up, and what's more, you can see the lighting effect coming through them. You can see the hatching, and now you can see the original tiles that haven't been painted. And now we're going to hit the lights. And I think you'll agree that effect is absolutely spectacular. Okay, Paul.
So for the LEDs, obviously fitting the LEDs is fairly straightforward, but just as easily straightforward is actually the controller that I'm using. I'm using an ESP8266 with some software on it called WLED, and I've got a controller here so we can change the colors of the lights and the effects, the number of LEDs, etc., etc. Now, at the moment, we've managed to power 15 meters of LED so far, just with a USB power pack. But the intention is to reinforce some of the power further along the line to make sure the LEDs have got the same amount of brightness. And we're going to be using just an ordinary power supply here. This is a 5-volt one. And with this, we should be able to power everything on the whole table.
So I can't wait to see the rest of the terrain come together around this, because I think that this, as a main part of the baseboard, is just going to add a whole new dimension to the game. Now, you just told me these have been in your house for 15 years in a box. Is that right?
That's correct. 15 years. I actually purchased them, and it was from an AliExpress purchase. And I was going to put some lighting in my kitchen. In the end, I decided to just go with plain RGBW LEDs rather than these fancy magic LEDs that are individually addressable. But for this sort of project, they are absolutely perfect. We can actually isolate individual areas and have them come up with different colors.
So we can actually section different boards with different colours. So if we weren't doing our 30k Grimdark, say we were doing a fantasy dungeon or something else, we could have different coloured lighting effects at all different parts of the board.
Yeah,
as and when we want it.
Indeed, and if you're in control and you've got a tablet running the WLED app, you could literally select a scene at a specific point and change the lighting to whatever you want.
So in actual fact, when objectives were taken in the game, you could change the lighting to reflect that.
Or turn the lights off in those areas to say that that's been completed and you want to go to another objective which could be lit up.
Amazing. Right, I'm looking forward to playing on this table. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and we'll get back to you with some more videos soon.